given the word.
3 minutes behind.
Is Kathy on?
Kathy is on.
She's got her name is there, but I don't see her picture.
Okay, so I'll just wait for the rest of our delegation.
Call this public hearing for conditional use number 001-21 to order at 7:04 p.m. for April 12th, 2021. We have supporting documentation for conditional use number 001-21-31 Nelson Road, Lot 12, Block 40, Plan 741 PLPO, North Division, to allow a food bank as a social service in a commercial downtown revitalization zone. I'm going to start with, before I go to administration, our CAO, Anthony McGinnis, has had an emergency come up, so he's not here tonight. So we will be reading off the information as we have it. I will go to Jenny to support the conditional use.
Sure. So the background is the City of Thompson is in receipt of conditional use application number 001-21, received on March the 5th, 2021. The purpose of this conditional use is to allow a food bank and social service facility in a commercial downtown revitalization zone, C-DTR zone, to assist those who are experiencing food insecurity due to social circumstances to COVID-19. Circulation in accordance with Part 11, Division 1 of the Planning Act, Section 169, subsection 3B, have been complied with, and the affected property owners who receive notification are within 100 meters. The agencies contacted have been Manitoba Hydro, Citro, MTS, and Shaw Cable. The Development Review Committee reviewed this application on March the 18th, 2021. And administration recommends that council approve conditional use number 001-21 to allow a food bank as a social service facility in a commercial downtown revitalization zone.
Any comments, council? This was, we talked about this at the development review, and there was no concerns to anybody by then. Okay. Is there anyone from the public that has to speak for or against this? If there's anyone from the public that wants to speak before or against this, this is your second call. Third and final, anyone from the public that wants to speak for or against this? Seeing none, we will move it to the agenda. And I call for adjournment. Councillor Ellsworth and Deputy Mayor Wong. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll call the regular meeting of council for April the 12th, 2021 to order at 7:07 p.m. We're going to start with, we have a delegation in recognition of Treaty 5. I'm sorry, got ahead of myself, folks. I apologize. First off, I would like to recognize that we are on Treaty 5 land and we are all treaty people. And I need an approval of the agenda. Councillor Colburn, Councillor Prue, all those in favor?
Madam Mayor, point of order, please.
Sir?
Yeah, I just want to point out that our rules require us, when we are tabling items, to assign dates to those tabled items. Last meeting of council, we tabled an item that was to come to council today. I don't see it on the agenda there unless I missed it. I have no objection to it not being on the agenda. However, I'd like to reiterate and point out again that it's important that we follow the rules. Thank you.
Councillor Fountain, it has been put on the April 26th agenda. Waiting for information. Thank you. Okay. Next, we're going to go with, pardon? Can you? Tammy?
We need to call
the question for the agenda.
Oh, okay, all those in favor?
Everybody.
Carried. Okay, next we're going to go to our delegation for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls monument presentation. I'm not on the
Sorry.
line.
Hi, it's me, Jackie Okamal. I am Hilda's assistant. Currently, Hilda is at another meeting right now and she sends her regards if she could reschedule for the next meeting.
Okay, we will turn that over to Tammy for rescheduling. And Tammy will work with Hilda to get it rescheduled.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for the for this.
No problem. Thank you very much for letting us know. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
Oh, yeah, I gotta leave, I guess.
Feedback. I know Mr. Matichak had a question about last time about the invoices for that made up the Smook Brother check. Did we get him that information?
I'm not sure.
Pardon?
Regarding the dozer rental? So the question was regarding how we procure that. Is that the, sorry, I wasn't here the last meeting. Just to...
Okay. He had requested that there was a check made out to Smook Brothers, and it was, I know some of it was for pushing up snow. He just wanted the individual invoices that made up the amount, the total amount of the check, right? Am I right? Rob?
Well, I wanted to know how you go about hiring someone to do this, because I don't hear about it.
I think it goes by the list of contractors or whoever's on the snow, but I can't answer that for sure. And like I said, Mr. McGinnis is absent tonight, so I apologize.
Okay.
I know this has gone on for 2 council meetings.
Can I ask a question on that? No, I can ask Kenny this a bit. Is there a certain amount that we got to put the job up for bid, or can the administration give out so much? What is the money, the dollar value on that?
Currently, if there's a contract above $15,000, it goes for tender.
About 15? What was the amount of this one?
10,000, hang on, I'll give you the exact amount. 10,419.47. And I see on this check register that's being presented tonight, there's another 7,397. I don't know if it's for the same thing or not, but it's something similar, I would assume. So a total of 14, hang on, a total of
18,000. Almost 18,000.
18,000.
Thank you. I apologize. We don't have those numbers. We'll get them to you.
And also with saying there is a list, I'd like to see that list, because as far as I know, I'm not on that list, and I'd love to know why. Because there was a day when they would come every year, you would give your price, and that hasn't happened in, I'll take a stab at a decade plus, and I'd like to know why. You guys know I exist. I get a business tax every year. It's no surprise that I'm out there.
Okay.
Enough for that one for now, till next week. Okay. There was a check written in this check register 0032393 to McCready Campground for $820.65. I was wondering what that was for.
I believe that was for hydro for the pool project, so the lights in the park project.
Good enough. I'll be back for my answers on the original question on the snow pushing next week or in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Is there any other community comments or feedback? Third and final. Any other comments or community feedback? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move on. Adoption of the minutes for the regular meeting of council, March 29, 2021. Resolution 2021046, moved by Deputy Mayor Wong, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, March 29, 2021, be adopted as circulated. Administration, anything? Deputy Mayor, do you have any comments?
Nothing to add.
Any comments from council? Nobody on Zoom that's up a hand? Okay, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody on Zoom?
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to the community and entities committee reports, the March check registers, administration.
Just a paper reviewed at the Legislative and Finance Committee.
Thank you. Any councilors or any questions? Councilor Ellsworth?
Yes, I had a number of questions on the check register that I put in writing and send it to Jenny and copied the city manager, I believe, along with yourself and others, and they were answered to my satisfaction. And the only thing I would like to see is that we get it probably a little bit more in a timely fashion to review it.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom? Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we will have it as information. Number 8 is resolutions. 8.1 is a resolution approving conditional use number 001-2131 Nelson Road, Block 12, Block 40, Plan 741 PLTO North Division. Resolution 2021047, moved by Councillor Prue, seconded by Councillor Colburn. Whereas the City of Thompson is in receipt of a conditional use application number 001-21 for Lot 12, Block 40, Plan 741 PLTO North Division, 31 Nelson Road, to allow a food bank as a social service facility in a commercial revitalization zone C-DTR. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representations for and or against the conditional use application. Now therefore be it resolved that council approve conditional use application number 001-21 for Lot 12, Block 40, Plan 741 PLTO North Division, 31 Nelson Road, to allow a food bank as a social service facility in a commercial revitalization zone C-DTR. I'll go to administration.
Just as for the public hearing, that all of the requirements under the Planning Act have been met regarding this conditional use application.
Thank you. Go to Councillor Prue.
I'm just for a good cause, and it's the least we can do to move this forward, help move this forward. And we've gone through everything at DRC for any issues for traffic and stuff like that. So happy to see this.
Thank you. Other councillors with comments? Councillor Ellsworth.
Yes, I actually, I'm pleased to see this here. We have gone through, as we all know, not only in this chamber, but the community and the province, we've gone through a terrible time with this pandemic. There's a lot of people been out of work. There's been some tough times. And I know on a personal basis, which I won't get into, there's a lot of people need help in our community, and another food bank to help ease the burden on the one that already exists, and maybe if there's others as well, does not hurt us. This is something that doesn't hurt the city. It helps the city when it comes to humanity. Certainly can get behind it and support it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I definitely support this event, and kudos to MKO that step up and do the food bank. But the only small little concern I have, on the Nelson Road, there's quite a bit of pothole, so hopefully the kid go and get the food bank and not fall into a pothole. This is a joke. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Wong. We will pass that along to Public Works. Is there anybody on Zoom I can't see? Is there anybody's hand up? Councillor McMurdo?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smook. As Andre or Councillor Prue and Councillor Ellsworth have said, that yeah, this COVID has been hard on people. So I think this is a good initiative that we can support, especially when it comes to food, security. That's a very important right, necessity. I just had one question. Maybe we don't have the information. Is this going to be permanent, or is this more of a service that will be operating due to the pandemic? Thanks.
It's not permanent at this time. I think it'll depend how long the pandemic goes as to how. Right now, it is not planned to be a permanent thing.
Okay, thank you.
And I too agree that in the time of COVID, this is something that we have needed. MKO has actually stepped up to the plate many times over the last few months to help our citizens of Thompson service. So thank you. So we'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carrie. Eight point two is a resolution to approve the transfer of utilities to taxes. Resolution 2021-048, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Councillor Prue. Whereas the Municipal Act section 2522 states a charge referred to in clause 1A may be collected by the municipality in the same manner as a tax may be collected or enforced under the Act. And whereas clause 1A deals with the powers respecting work, services, utilities, and states, 252.1, a municipality exercising powers in the nature of those referred to in clauses 252, B, C, and D may set terms and conditions in respect of users, including A, setting the rates or amounts of deposits, fees, or other charges, and charging and collecting them. And whereas the City of Thompson has been unsuccessful in attempts to collect the water utility revenue, now therefore be it resolved that Council approve the transfer of outstanding utility invoices for the following utility accounts contained in the attached schedule. Administration?
Yes, this is an annual process to ensure the outstanding water bills are included with the current year tax bills. The water bills in this package are included up till December 31st in the outstanding items over 9276, which is the flat fee. Any payments received since this schedule was prepared, as well as up to and including when the transfer is done, will be reduced from the actual transfer that occurs to taxes.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is quite a discussion in the Finance Committee, and the document that I'm looking at shows from 2016 to 2021 for the amounts and the number of counts. Everything prior to 2021 has been already taken care of. If I read this right now, I was a little confused at the time. This is a significant, you got to remember, this is water utility. This is a significant amount of money to this city. And if I do my numbers right, I've been told y'all it's in progress. There's going to be some accounts that's going to be settled. Well, I can only go on what I see tonight. And I'm looking at about 190, give or take, 191 more accounts than last year. That tells me another 181 people has not paid on top of the 772 last year for a total of 963 with a 1.4 million. That's a lot of money. That equates to almost 12%, 13% tax if you go by 108,000 per 1%. So my question is, yes, you can add it to the property tax, but that's what we've been doing for years. And I don't have the answers tonight, but I would defer back to Finance Committee and say this needs to be looked at in a different way, because we can't afford the city not getting the $1.4 million in utility. We're not talking about property tax, we're talking about utility, and it's huge money. So we've got to find a different system or a better system to collect. And I don't have that answer tonight, but it's certainly something we've got to look at. We can't come each year and saying, well, the counts are going higher and higher, the amounts are going higher and higher. It's unacceptable. And you can hire a lot of people at 1.4 million to collect this money, and maybe that's something we'll have to look at. But I'm not impressed whatsoever. And certainly, again, in closing, I would say we need to go back to the drawing board and see if there's a better way of doing business there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, Councillor Crew?
I agree 100% there with Councillor Ellsworth. We really need to look at our water issues and billing issues and try to look at what we can do differently, hopefully in the near future, to try to resolve or bring this number down quite a bit.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Colbert?
Well, you know, there's 900 water bills unpaid. Now they're being transferred to taxes. How many of them water bills people haven't paid their taxes either? So are we going to correct that? You know, this is a problem, very big problem. I brought up water bills a long time ago. I know there's work being done on it, but our water system needs an overhaul. Needs an overhaul, and being 1.4 million behind, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, with that kind of money, you can hire 10 people and go and collect, right? And tap into accounts instead of going into taxes. Like I say, the $27,000 one there, you know, I don't know, there's got to be some kind of business or something that hasn't paid their taxes or their water bill.
200,000.
200,000, you know, it's crazy. And now we're putting it on taxes, and who knows we're ever going to get taxes now. Taxes are going up. Going up with water bill, right? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wong. Oh, yeah, Deputy Mayor Wong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this thing I talked about last year and the year before and the year before. I'm always passionate about this. The number doesn't lie. Last year, I did ask all my colleagues to look into the water utility billing and look into it deeper, and maybe we need to restructure. Here's the two part of my comments. One part, I totally agree with Councillor Ellsworth about the collection. We cannot afford to keep on letting people owing money to the city because we probably need that money for operation purpose. So that's a very significant amount that's outstanding. But on my second part of my comment I'd like to make is, it showed me something. I don't think people purposely not paying the bill just for us to charge them interest. The interest is not cheap. When you look at the number, 900 plus meter that not paid, we're talking about almost 20% of our utility revenue that not paid. And the amount, when you look at the amount, every year is jumping up. It never go down. So that's my concern as well. Maybe perhaps people cannot afford to pay because the rate is going up and up and up. For the same reason, yes, we can do all we want to transfer to the property tax, but the property tax owing is also significant. Until the numbers show to the public, it's also going up and up and up. So we're just putting the money from one account to another account. It doesn't solve the problem. The problem keeps rising. I strongly suggest one more time before I end of the term, hopefully this term the council willing to step in and look into the utility. How are we charging? Is that fair? Is there any other alternative to make it more cheaper to use and mitigate people that owing and go further? To me, you look at the number, pretty much about 700 accounts that is always behind. Some gain, some not. You look at the year of number of accounts, the number again show you the data. So I can pretty sure to say this, average about 700 houses that consistently behind the bill, could be year to 2 years to 3 years max. So anyhow, I'm going to end on this. So I hope this will be my last year to talk about this. I've been talking about so many years already. I think some of my colleagues are already sick of tired what my comment is. So I leave it that way. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody on Zoom?
Yeah.
Councillor Fowler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess I just have one question for administration. We don't have another mechanism to collect this, is my understanding. This is the only mechanism that we have, and that realistically the real property would be assessed against or would be held against people delinquent in payment. Is that correct?
Right. Under the Municipal Act, we have the ability to add to taxes, and that's really the only other option that we have to us.
Just for clarification, this process is dictated by the Municipal Act, correct?
Anything further, Jeff? She did say yes to you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else on Zoom?
That's Brian.
Councillor Lambert?
Yeah, I agree with what Council Juan's saying. I think that we should have a subcommittee or something out of either Public Works or DRC to take a look at this, because we've got other water and sewer issues. And I know that's not related to this, like completely, this is somebody not paying their utilities. And I know that there are people out there that don't want to pay quarterly, so they just wait till the end of the year. And that's, I'm not saying there's 900 of them doing that. I'm just saying that there's different reasons. Some of it because maybe you can't afford it at the time either. However, I just think that we could have a subcommittee within one of our committees to discuss this further, because there's also issues with some of the things where there's been leaks and things like that, that there's some fairness that we can look at and how things are dealt with, but not for here. And I'm in agreement with getting this off the, or onto our books, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Is Councillor Valentino, are you on?
No, I'm good. This is a housekeeping thing, and it's very disturbing how little people regard the fact that they have to pay these bills quarterly. So I think there were some good suggestions already discussed at the Finance Committee meeting, and I think it's already on the agenda to continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McMurdo, did you have your hand
up? Nope, no hand up over here, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it is disturbing the high amounts. Oh, I'm sorry, Earl.
One question for administration. Does this process work? Are we collecting the money? So you're telling us here right now, we haven't collected no back pay from 2016 on. No? So this 2016, that's already been collected by taxes? We go through this process every year?
Right, so we have a tax bill process as well. So once the utility gets added to taxes, if it's not paid, then they enter the tax bill process. And we see only about one property per year that usually is an abandoned property that goes through tax bill. So at this point, we haven't sold people's homes and stuff through tax bill. Usually we do end up collecting those monies.
So the money comes in through taxes, no matter what the numbers say here. Money's been coming in. So this past year is 1.4 million. Now that will be passed on to next year's taxes, and we should be able to collect most of it.
Most of it,
yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just further to that, our utilities have to pay for themselves. Is where this is separate in the funds. When we go to the Public Utilities Board to get rate increases, it's because of the cost of our utilities that have to be covered within. So this money in utilities is basically only going for the water supply and the wastewater. So it's definitely all regulated by the Public Utilities Board, and we can't charge any more or less than what they tell us to. So with that, I'm going to ask for the question. All those in favor?
Everybody on Zoom.
All right.
Zoom, okay. Opposed? Carried. .3 is a resolution to authorize the city to apply for the Municipal Service Delivery Improvement Program. Never mind, we'll read this first. Resolution 2021-049, moved by Deputy Mayor Wong, seconded by Councillor Prue. Whereas the Municipal Delivery Improvement Program, MSDIP, was announced on March 11th, and whereas MSDIP is a voluntary program that will allow municipalities and planning districts to conduct value for money service delivery reviews. And whereas the province has committed to maintaining funding levels to municipalities as promised in budget 2020 and will not reduce any of that funding based on implemented savings by the municipalities from this program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that council authorize administration to apply for the Municipal Service Delivery Improvement Program through the Department of Municipal Relations. Administration?
So this resolution is part of the requirements in order for administration to apply for the Municipal Service Delivery Improvement Program. So the intent would be to submit an application to the province by their April 30th deadline upon approval by council.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think why not? Because the province paid for that. It doesn't mean that not taxpayer pay, but it's just the whole province pay for the auditing instead of the taxpayer from Thompson. So what we can do is that if anything comes back, we can do above and beyond if we need to. But at least at some point, we have to start some sort of improvement plan for the city of Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Councillor Prue?
Yeah, I'm really happy to see this move forward. We definitely, every organization, including ourselves, definitely need some, we call it constructive criticism from some professionals here to improve and streamline our business. And I'm looking forward to see what we're gonna get back for a report and what kind of timeline. And as Deputy Mayor said, we can go above and beyond, or at least we'll get a good outlook on what we need to do.
About the debt possible, which are not supposed to be, deficits to municipalities in October. So I hope we do find savings, number one. And secondly, keep in mind, it doesn't say that they won't come after the funding in years to come after we've done it either. So I'm all about doing it. But let's not think that we got a golden egg here either. We should be getting more funding, and especially during the pandemic, it should be a lot more funding than what we have. So I will support it because of the reason I've expressed, but also want to make sure that we understand that we have no funding since 2016, and we keep bringing that up.
Thank you. Councillor Fountain, for your hand up. Okay, Councillor Myrtle.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smook. I think Councillor Wong and Ellsworth and Prue have made the majority of my comments. I just want to say that we talk about finding efficiencies and improvements, and this is one great way where the province can pay for it, and we can realize the savings here. So yeah, I'll definitely support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Valentino.
Thank you. I'm not sure if you came to me before, but my screen was frozen up and it's kind of been cutting in and out. So I apologize if you're calling for me. But yeah, I'm going to be supporting this, but similar to some of the comments, we were the city of Thompson, one of the first cities to say we wanted to jump on this when it was first announced in the 2020 budget, and they really weren't prepared for anything at that point. So cautious when we go forward with this. It isn't an efficiency study that will look at all aspects of our city operations, only on the ones that the province is saying that they will look at. So we have to plan for looking at our whole operating as a city, not just bits and pieces. So I will support this right now going forward, but wanting us to plan to look at an entire operational budget for our city. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was just going to mention that we had actually were the first municipality that signed on with the government when they first announced this over a year ago. So it's nice to finally see it coming to fruition, and I look forward to it. And as Councillor Valentino says, we do want to make sure that we get a complete audit, even if this doesn't quite cover everything. So thank you. With that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
All right.
Everybody on?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, carried.
Mayor Smook, I hate to interrupt, but I'm going to have to excuse myself. I have to get to work for 8 o'clock tonight. So my apologies, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Braden.
Thanks.
So
good night.
McMurdo has left, and we still have quorum, so we'll continue on. He left the meeting at 7:39. 8.4 is a resolution to approve the Comstream right-of-way easement agreements for Riverside School. Resolution 2021-050, moved by Deputy Mayor Wong, seconded by Councillor Prue. Whereas Comstream proposes to install a new 750-meter long 48-strand fiber optic cable between the existing Comstream vault located at the northeast corner of Thompson Drive and Riverside Drive to a new vault located on the west side of Copper Road adjacent to Ecole Riverside School, and a new 140-meter long 24-strand fiber optic cable to be installed from the new vault adjacent to Ecole Riverside School to the school premises. And whereas the route will be comprised of 4 new flush to grade 24 by 36 bolts installed on city property within 2 to 38 millimeters HDPE conduit along the main route and 1.38 millimeters HDPE conduit from the main route to the school premises. And whereas the installation of the fiber optic requires use of the City of Thompson right-of-way easement agreement referred to in file number 027-1. Now therefore be it resolved that council approves the Comstream right-of-way easement agreement file number 0270-1 with the following conditions. Any damage caused by installing the fiber or related activities will be corrected and the area brought back to its original state. The installed fiber, that's number 1. Number 2, the installed fiber will be kept as far away from the sewer and water lines as practically possible. And number 3, any proposed vaults or boxes that are required will be built on a distance far enough away from water lines and sewer mains to allow the normal digging that may be required to repair water or sewer line breaks. For the administration?
I have nothing further to add.
Deputy Mayor Wong?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Pretty much it's a standard procedure for them to do something at the city, but in the same time, it's a good thing happened to city. So at least we are getting some quality service in the future, and also update our blueprint so we know when there's a water break, we know exactly where the line is located. So it's a good situation for us to have this resolution to be approved. So I will support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors, comments? Any?
Councillor Fountain.
Councillor Fountain?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just wondering if there's been some arrangement to have them do that work outside of the school season. It would seem to me, given the proximity of the school and the fact that we've had some issues with construction in the past week where children have been hurt, if there's not an arrangement that we can make with them to do that work off season, off school season, that is.
We can mention that to administration. I am not sure about the capabilities of that, but it would definitely be brought to their attention. Anybody else? Questions, concerns? Okay. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. 8.5 is a resolution to approve the Comstream right-of-way easement agreement for Wapanoke School. Resolution 2021-051, moved by Councillor Prue, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Whereas ComStream proposes to install a new 1.4 kilometer long 48 strand fiber optic cable between existing ComStream vault located on the northeast boulevard of Cree Road and Hemlock Crescent, a new vault located on the west side of Princeton Drive adjacent to Wampanoag School, and a new 110 meter long 24 strand fiber optic cable to be installed from the new vault adjacent Wampanoag School to the school premises. And whereas the route will be comprised of 6 new flush to grade 24 by 36 inch bolts installed on the property with 2-38 millimeter HDPE conduits along the main route and 138 millimeter HDPE conduit from the main route to the school. And whereas the installation of the fiber optic requires the use of City of Thompson's right-of-way easement agreements referred to in file number 0270-2, now therefore be it resolved that Council approve ComStream right-of-way easement file number 0270-2 with the following conditions. Any damage caused by installing the fiber to related activities will be corrected and the area brought back to its original state. 2, the installed fiber will be kept as far away from sewer and water lines as practically possible. And 3, any proposed bolts or boxes that are required will be built at a distance far enough away from water and sewer mains to allow the normal digging that may be required to pair water or sewer line breaks. I'll go to Councillor Prue.
No.
Administration. Okay. Any other councillors? This is basically the same resolution as last. Is there anybody online?
Councillor Fountain.
Councillor Fountain?
Just reiterate my last point, but also ask if there's some mechanism for us to notify the school district. I would assume that the proponent would do that, but assumptions are always dangerous. So I'm just wondering if someone from the city will be reaching out as well.
Thank you. Actually, the school district does have a representative on the development review committee, and this was there before, so he is very aware of it.
This was also brought forth by the school district, I believe.
And this was basically brought forth by the school district.
Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
8.6 is a resolution authorizing administration to enter into a funding agreement between Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries and the City of Thompson for the 2019 Community Safety Officer Program. Resolution 2021-052, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wong. Whereas the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries Corporation confirmed $55,000 in funding to the City of Thompson for 2021-2022, the Thompson Community Safety Officer Program from April 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2022. Now therefore be resolved, the council authorizes administration to sign the funding letter received in the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries for $55,000 toward the 2021-2022 Community Safety Officer Program. Administration?
Yes, this is just a housekeeping for council to approve administration to enter into the agreement. There's a good news in that previous years we've received 30,000, and this year that amount has increased to 55,000.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Certainly, anytime we can get some money from any level of government to help us with the issues we got in town would be helpful. It's too bad it's just a one-year agreement. As Jenny has already said, we usually get 30 and 55. That's good news. The problem I have with, if you look at what's happening downtown here in Thompson, it's a terrible mess. I don't care what anyone says, and people can say, well, it doesn't matter where the liquor store is, where it isn't. Well, it is downtown Thompson. And anyone follows what's going on the weekend again, like the post, unbelievable. So my comment really would be this: I wish they would fund a half a dozen safety officers so we can get a handle on what's happening, or at least get some control. There's people in our community right now that's scared to shop downtown. They're scared to shop for their own lives. And certainly causes me a lot of anxiety as well. I get a lot of those calls, I follow it. But again, I'll take the 55,000 and hopefully they will open their eyes and see that that liquor store, I'm not saying it resolve the problems, but it certainly contribute to a lot of the problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Councillor Valentino.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. I'm going to support this. Obviously, I'm happy to see it increase to the 55,000. However, this community supports Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries a lot more, and this funding should be a lot more. Not just the liquor store, but for the amount of lotteries, amount of our VLT revenues that come out of this city. This is an ongoing advocacy that we always bring up to ministers. I think in the reporting document that it says there needs to be a written report on addressing alcohol-related harms back to how this 55,000 has been given. Perhaps members of the liquor and lotteries would like to come to our city to see the report firsthand, because I think this is something we need to continue to lobby for desperately, that we need more funding for more community safety officers, not just an increase to the 55,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Wong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I read this agreement a bit different. I think it's not just a one-time, provided if we can come up with better data at the end for the report from the director, we might be able to get funding continuously, is provided the data. With this agreement, I have one question to the administration at page 2, the last paragraph, which is the 4th paragraph. Do we have that? What is exactly asked? The City of Thompson shall maintain throughout the terms of this letter agreement commercial general liability insurance with a minimum limit of coverage of 2 million per occurrence. So the corporation shall be named as an addition insured to the commercial general liability policy. It shall be the responsibility of the City of Thompson and its insurance advisor to determine if higher limit of liability insurance are required. So do we have that to comply the request from them, Jenny?
I'll have to look into that to know for sure if that's included.
Then make sure that we do have that. I know they always ask those kind of coverage and put their name into the our policy. So anyway, other than that, I'm good.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Somebody is that? Councillor Fountain, is your hand up?
Yep. Yes, Madam Mayor. I don't want to be too repetitive because I think Councillor Valentino and Councillor Ellsworth said everything that needs to be said. The costs to the city in terms of social costs and actual costs are barely, this is like a minuscule percentage of the cost to our city. And, you know, just to add and lend my voice to the voices that have already been put out there with regards to this issue, certainly enthusiastic that we got the money, but it doesn't go near far enough to address the issues that are caused by that vice. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, and I also agree. If we all remember, Councillor Collada was stressed very much how much money the VLPs and that took out, and did work for many years on it. And I do believe that our community safety and wellness strategy will give us some more ammunition to go after more dollars for our downtown issues. Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that in the letter, it's very clear the corporation is committed to funding only as specified within this agreement, which expires on March 31st, 2022, and is not committed to funding beyond the expiration date. I would hope that it would, but according to the letter, it's for that specified time only. So that's where we are.
Yeah, and that's the way it's been for years, it goes with their year end, and we do have to apply for it every year. So, so far for a number of years, we have got it, so we're just hoping it continues. Any other questions? Okay, with that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Okay, thank you, Karen. Next, we go into bylaws. 9.1 is the second reading of bylaw 2010 for the Cemetery Act. Resolution 2021-053, moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Councillor Prue. Be it resolved that bylaw 2010-2021, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 1925-2015, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to define the location of a public cemetery and to adopt rules and regulations for its operation, be given a second reading. Administration?
Yes, I believe there's just been some housekeeping changes, adding in some definitions, removing some terms that are no longer applicable, as well as including in section 26 that plot owners who currently have grave top covers will be grandfathered in.
Thank you. Councillor Colbert?
I think we should build a new grave because Councillor Ellsworth is getting ready. Thank you.
I know it's a compliment or what?
Is there any other comments from councillors? Councillor Ellsworth.
It'd be nice to see second and third reading, so at least it is ready if I decide to move on.
Thank you, sir. Anybody on Zoom? Councillor Valentino.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. This came from review and discussions out of the Public Works Committee that we looked at this bylaw. Obviously, to some people in the community, this is always a sensitive topic when we talked about some of the things. So that's the reason why the grave top covers are going to be grandfathered in under the non-conforming ornamentation part of it. And the rest was just the housekeeping words. So it hadn't been reviewed for many, many years. So it was time to do that. So appreciate the work from administration and our Public Works Committee that looked at this. And I'll be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. And as you noted, ornamentation that will be fathered in according to this agreement. And this is more in compliance with the cemeteries basically across Canada. It brings everybody up to date. So with that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Yeah.
No, everybody.
Oh, yeah, unanimous. Thank you. With that being said, we will now go to 9.2, which is third reading of bylaw 2010-2021. And I just want to remind everybody that this will be a recorded vote when we do the third reading. Resolution 2021-054, moved by Councillor Colburn and seconded by Councillor Prue. Be it resolved that bylaw 2010-2021 be given third and final reading, that it do now pass. Administration?
I have nothing further to that.
Councillor Colburn, any more comments?
No, I'm good, Jared. It's a good thing. I'd like to add a couple names to do this.
I'm sure I'm one of them, but thank you. And as I'm the oldest in the room. Anyway, with that being said, is there any, Councillor Ellsworth?
Yeah, I just want to know if Councillor Colburn has got a direct line of books, because I'd like to prepare it. My time is coming anytime soon.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom with a comment?
Oh.
Likely just as well. We're done with the comments. So in a recorded vote, I'll call for the vote and recorded vote. Who's in favor of this? We've got Councillor Prue, Councillor Colburn, Councillor Ellsworth, Mayor Smook, Deputy Mayor Wong, Councillor Lundmark, Councillor Valentino, and Councillor Fountain. Unanimous. Thank you. The new cemetery bylaw is now in place. Next, we'll go to the mayor's report. So it starts basically on March 31st. On April 1st, my husband and I, we received our vaccine. It was Pfizer. Neither one of us had any kind of reactions to it. So thank you very much, and I recommend that everybody go out and get theirs as soon as they can. On April 7th, I gave welcoming remarks and attended the morning session of the 5th Annual Truth and Reconciliation Gathering. There were 210 participants that morning on Zoom. That shows you how we used to have trouble getting 25 people on a meeting. Now we're 200 plus. And it was a very good meeting. And Anthony McGinnis, he attended some on the 8th. April the 9th, I received a call from MP Jim Carr confirming that our gas tax rebate will be doubled again this year. So that was good news for our community. And also that day, there was an Indigenous Partners Health call led by the NRHA. April the 11th, I attended the Sikh flag raising ceremony commemorating their further commitment to our community. Thank you. Budget meetings have wrapped up. We'll be having the city staff presentations prior to the public presentation, which is April the 29th at 7 p.m. Please call 204-677-7938 and Tammy will register you. We like to share in the loss of Prince Philip, the beloved husband of Queen Elizabeth. We send our condolences. I would also like to say that we really still have to fight the COVID. Please stay safe. Social distancing, wear your masks, wash your hands. It's always as important as it was. And watch, it's a bit cooler this week. The streets are a bit slippery out there. And for pothole information, 204-677-7970. Call in your potholes. Facebook does not fix potholes. Thank you very much. And we'll go to fellow councillors if they have any comments for this evening. Okay. Councillor Ellsworth.
You mentioned the doubling of the gas tax, just something for us to think about. I'm not sure if you're aware, I'm sure you are. They've been charging carbon tax, and last week, I think it was, carbon tax was added again to gas and diesel. And I'm wondering how some of that money might, just a food for thought from Public Finance Committee or somewhere, we might be able to apply for some of that money since they're taking a lot out of the community. And these weren't just 1 cent, they went up several trips on both gas and diesel.
I'm sure we're all aware of it, and I'm hoping that down the pipe there does come the ability for us to go for grants based on that. Otherwise, I think we will be reaching out to the governments to find out exactly where those dollars are going. And it's up to us to all be diligent and aware of what's happening. So thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I would just like to send a shout out to our Public Works and for Thompson Fire and Emergency Services for their quick addressing of an issue Saturday night where a young fellow happened to get caught up in some mud and that. And Sam was a very cooperative patient or that. Everybody was so proud of how well he handled himself. And I'm very proud of our services that got him out of that bad situation. And he was able to actually go home to recuperate. So thank you to one and all that did that. And you got to keep up the good work. And please feel free to phone our Public Works if you do see something that needs addressing. Thank you. With that, call for adjournment. Councillor.
Everybody.
Ellsworth. All in favor?
Aye. Mariana.
Oh, we got that. Hey, double we got that.
The 1 kilometer with those contracts, we can get
No, we can't go.